Well, this is getting a lot of attention. Brian Laundrie's mother speaking out about a letter she wrote to her son the same year Brian Laundrie murdered his then-girlfriend, Gabby Petito. In a sworn affidavit, Roberta Laundrie says the so-called burn after reading letter was innocent. It was full of inside jokes and references, according to her. Now, you may recall the nationwide search for 22-year-old Gabby Petito. She went missing while on a 4-month cross-country journey with her boyfriend, Brian, planning to document it all on YouTube. But sadly, that trip took a dark turn when her remains were recovered in Wyoming. Then Brian vanished, and he was later found dead. That was about a month later. Well, senior national correspondent Brian Inton is back. Brian has been committed to that story from the very beginning. I mean, Brian, you covered every aspect of this story. So let's start with the letter. How do we know it exists? Who found it? What was inside of it? And why is there so much suspicion surrounding that letter?
So this letter is one of the final mysteries with this story that we still haven't seen the letter, by the way. Basically, when Brian Laundrie, when his remains were found and his backpack was found, there was this letter inside the backpack that said burn after reading, and it was from his mom, Roberta. So we've not seen the letter. The FBI apparently had the letter, returned it to the Laundries. The Laundries haven't given up the letter, but the Petito family attorneys, as part of their lawsuit, has brought up this letter saying it could actually be proof that Roberta Laundrie was involved, that she helped her son along with everything that went on behind the scenes with Gabby Petito. The new part of this is that Roberta Laundrie has now spoken out for the first time in a filing in court, basically saying this letter had nothing to do with Gabby Petito, and I wrote the letter long before their trip. And the burn after reading was actually sort of related to a book that they liked called Burn After Writing, some book that Gabby Petito had given Brian. So she's claiming it has nothing to do with anything.
Right. And so, but the Petitos argue that the Laundrie family is potentially concealing something with all of this. Roberta says, oh, it's nothing. But this is really going to be a major focus of this civil suit, right, by the Petitos against the Laundries and their attorney as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, they're also suing the Petito's lawyer, which is interesting. And yes, suing the Laundrie's lawyer. The Petitos claim that the Laundries knew that Gabby Petito was dead for quite some time while the search was happening, while they were in so much pain and suffering, and they're claiming that that they should now have to pay up because of that, because they didn't come forward with that information. And they think that this letter may actually be evidence in that. But again, now Roberta has come forward and said, wait a minute, this is an old letter that I gave Brian long before any of this started, long before the road trip. He just must have had it in his backpack, but it has nothing to do with anything.
And this isn't a sworn affidavit because we don't ever really hear from the Laundries. They don't come out and just address the media at any point, or they certainly weren't when all of this was happening. Right?
Yeah, no, they haven't spoken at all. This is actually the first time we've really, maybe they're not talking, but the first time we've actually seen something that Roberta has written where she's trying to make a point and get her side of the story out. But what's interesting is they didn't just release the letter. I mean, everybody's been asking for this letter. The Petitos have been asking for the letter. The media's been asking for the letter. She gave her side of what the letter is, but they still haven't made the letter public.
Well, I know
it'll come out in court probably.
I was just going to ask, do you think we will eventually be able to see the letter?
I think so in court. I think this civil trial, and it's going to go to trial, that's the way it stands right now in a couple of months, is really going to be something, Nichole, because you're going to have the Petitos and the Laundries in a courtroom together. Not only are the Laundries being sued, but their lawyer, Stephen Bertolino, is also being sued, so he'll have to be there. And all sorts of information is going to come out about what may have been going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be another one to watch. All right, Brian, thank you for that as always. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.